Video game remasters have become more common than ever this generation, and while some may think they are getting milked to no end, they do offer gamers a way to experience great games better than they were in the past. In this video, we'll be going over the top 10 best PlayStation 4 remasters. Let's get right into this. Number 10, Sleeping Dogs: The Definitive Edition. Sleeping Dogs is often seen as a GTA in Hong Kong, but the game was so much more than that. It told a captivating story and built a very lively world. However, Sleeping Dogs was really a game that could have used the next generation hardware, so it was nice to see the definitive edition, which included the base game with better visuals and a better frame rate. It also includes all of the DLC, which is a ton of content. At first, Sleeping Dogs did release at a full $60 price point, and at that point it probably wasn't worth it, but now at its budget price, it's easily worth it. Number 9, Gravity Rush Remastered. Gravity Rush was a very welcomed remaster given the fact that it was initially only available on the PlayStation Vita, and it's a game that deserves to be exposed to a bigger market. It's a great action-adventure game where you play as a girl named Kat that has the ability to manipulate gravity and implement it into her combat. The Remastered Edition features some graphical refinements as well as all of the DLC content. It was released at a budget price of $30, and for that, it was definitely worth it. Gravity Rush 2 is releasing at the end of the year, so picking up the first game now might not be a bad idea. Number 8, Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition. So it's debatable whether or not you'd consider Diablo 3 a remaster, but the fact remains the game was on PlayStation 3 and it saw a more definitive release on the PlayStation 4. Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition obviously saw graphical improvements, but it also saw the expansive Reaper of Souls DLC included for free. So that added a wealth of new content and made this one of the best value purchases in gaming. Finishing both the base game and the DLC is going to take you at least 30 hours, and that's if you rush through everything, and there's a lot of replayability in the game, so it'll keep you busy for a while. Number 7, Shadow Complex Remastered. Shadow Complex was widely considered one of the Xbox 360's best game, and it finally became available to PlayStation gamers earlier this year. Shadow Complex Remastered won't blow you away in terms of technical upgrades, but the fact that Shadow Complex was available on PlayStation was a reason to be excited in its own right. It plays like a Metroidvania style game where it's a side-scroller with a lot of options for exploration. It told a great story, had some good action-y gameplay. It's very much worth a buy. Number 6, Metro Redo. Metro, just like Sleeping Dogs, are games that really could have benefited from being on the next generation consoles. Metro 2033 wasn't even released on the PlayStation 3, and Metro Last Light had some clear technical limitations. Both games were re-released on the PlayStation 4 with much better visuals and a much better frame rate in the Metro Redo collection. Both games are single-player only first-person shooters that are very atmospheric, tell compelling stories, and feature very refined gameplay. For those looking for a story-driven FPS, the Metro Redo collection is a must-buy. Number 5, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. Valkyria Chronicles was one of the best RPGs on the PlayStation 3. It was an excellent strategy RPG with a great watercolor art style, a fantastic story, and engaging characters. Unfortunately, it never saw any sort of major commercial success on PS3. Luckily, it got a second wind with its PC release, and earlier this year, a remastered version arrived to PlayStation 4 with better visuals, all of the DLC content, and both Japanese and English voiceovers. All of that at a very reasonable price of $30. If you're a fan of RPGs and have never played Valkyria Chronicles, the remastered version is well worth it. Number 4, Borderlands: The Handsome Collection. Borderlands became one of the most popular series on those 7th generation platforms, and Borderlands: The Handsome Collection bundles Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, as well as both games' respective DLC content. Both games saw the typical remastered treatment with better visuals and 60 frames per second. The amount of value out of this collection is absolutely staggering. Both the base games have a lot of content, but then when you add in the DLC, you're adding tens of hours of more content. It's a fantastic collection which appeals to both fans and newcomers alike. Number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is another game where it's a tremendous game, but it was severely crippled by being on the PlayStation 3. That's why it was so nice to see the game brought to the PlayStation 4, and even on the PS4, the game wasn't technically perfect, but that just goes to show how vast of a game GTA 5 is. The core of the game is untouched. It's the same game just with the technical improvements, but those improvements made the game so much better. If you've never played Grand Theft Auto 5 on next gen, I would highly recommend it if you're a fan of the game. Number 2, The Last of Us Remastered. The Last of Us is considered by many to be the swan song to the PlayStation 3, and it's arguably the console's best game. The remastered version on PlayStation 4 just makes that experience better. Better visuals, 60 frames per second, an awesome photo mode that lets you really take in the beautiful world of The Last of Us. This version also includes the Left Behind DLC, which is very much worth playing. If somehow you haven't played The Last of Us yet, it's a must-play game that I can recommend to anyone. The fantastic story, exhilarating gameplay, breathtaking visuals are only some of the amazing elements to The Last of Us. Number 1, Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. Naughty Dog did an amazing job with The Last of Us, but the same can be said for Uncharted, a series that just wrapped up earlier this year. Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection bundles the 3 games released on PlayStation 3, remasters them all in one package. Uncharted 1 hasn't aged all too well, but it's still a very good game, and Uncharted 2 and 3 hold up with the best games released these days. Uncharted 2 in particular is just a fantastic game with awesome pacing that keeps the player engaged at all times. If you've never played Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection is a great place to start. Beat those 3 games and then pick up Uncharted 4, which is also a tremendous game. So that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 best remasters on the PS4. What do you think? Which remasters were your favorite? Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching and goodbye.